sense understands I'm not Taylor Swift, in case you haven't noticed. We're not here as an entertainment show. We're not here to applaud Bernie or Chris Balluzio. We are here to transform America, and the only way we do it is by transforming ourselves. Democracy is not an entertainment activity. It's not looking at somebody else. It's not a beauty contest. It's not a concert. It is getting active and standing up for the people next to us, the people down the block, and the people across the country. New ways. And in every part of the country, in every state, it may be a little bit different. But we got to think of new ways as to how we can be more generous, more effective, how we can bring people together to create the kind of nation that you and I know we can become. Begin. See, I've already gone on for 10 minutes and I'm beginning. That's what you learn when you're a U.S. Senator. By saying hello to Congressman McKenzie. And let me say this, Mr. Congressman. We are living in very difficult times. And in your district right here and all across this country, millions of working people are struggling to put food on the table. I was just in Harrisburg yesterday. We had a great rally in the evening, and earlier in the day I had some time, and the administrators were kind enough to allow me to go to a couple of schools and talk to some of the kids in Harrisburg. Beautiful kids. And one of the kids, I wanted to hear what was going on in their lives, and one of the kids gets up and says, well, I'm living with my dad now, my parents are separated, but my mom is trying to help out. She's working at 2 jobs right now, and she's looking for a 3rd job. All right? And this is what is in fact going on all over this country. 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. So I say to Congressman McKenzie, you know, and everybody in this room knows or should know, that there is what is called a reconciliation bill in Washington that will be, we think, coming to the floor of the House and Senate in the pretty near future. What this bill in general does is it would make massive cuts, over $800 billion in Medicaid. It would make massive cuts in nutrition programs. Massive cuts to housing. And all of those savings would be used to provide a $1.1 trillion tax rate for the richest 1%. So my message to Congressman McKenzie is, don't vote for that terrible piece of legislation. Strong suspicion you will be a one-term member of Congress. For a number of years in Vermont and around the country, I talked a lot about our nation moving toward an oligarchic form of society. And there were people who were saying, what does oligarchy mean? What is Bernie talking about? Well, thanks to Donald Trump, we now know what oligarchy is about. When Donald Trump was elected president, and I know it seems like a lot longer time ago, but it was only 100 days. When Trump was elected president, he had behind him three of the wealthiest people in America. You remember who those guys were? You had Elon Musk. You know Elon. And he had Mr. Bezos next to him. And he had Mr. Zuckerberg next to him. Three wealthiest guys in America standing right behind the president. But that wasn't enough. Behind those guys, you had 13 other billionaires that Trump had nominated to become the heads of major federal agencies. You know, right here in Pennsylvania, back in 1863, at that terrible Battle of Gettysburg, where 20,000 Union soldiers were either killed or wounded. A few days later, as you all remember, President Abraham Lincoln came to the battlefield. And he looked at that terrible battlefield where just a few days ago, so many people had died. And he said in so many words, what we believe in is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And what Trump has made perfectly clear, he doesn't hide it. I got to give the guy credit for that. That right now we have a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class, and we are not going to accept that. You have an obscenity in the wealthiest guy in the world, running all over Washington, D.C., firing thousands and thousands of dedicated federal employees. At a time when the Social Security Administration doesn't have enough employees right now to service the seniors, they want to throw away, they want to discharge thousands and thousands of people at the Social Security Administration. At a time when the Veterans Administration is understaffed, they want to lay off 83,000 employees at the VA. Well, I don't care if you are Republican, Democrat, or Independent, we stand with the veterans of this country. We're not going to see a deterioration in their health care or the benefits that they receive. But it is not just oligarchy that we are dealing with today. We are looking at an unprecedented attack on the foundations of American democracy, and under Trump, a movement toward authoritarianism. You know, the founding fathers of this country were nobody's dummies. You all recall that they had led the fight against the autocratic King of England, the most powerful person on earth at that time. A guy like Trump who thought he had the divine right to rule. And what these guys did, founding fathers, they said, you know what? We see what the autocrat in England is doing, and we're going to have a constitution which provides for separation of powers. Right? You all remember that from history class? So you got an executive branch, the president, a legislative branch, Congress, Senate, and House and a judiciary of federal courts. And the reason we have that separation of powers is precisely to prevent what Trump is trying to do today. He is usurping the powers, the appropriation powers of the United States Congress. Unbelievably, when a court decision comes down that he doesn't like, he says, we're going to impeach the judge. But it's not only Congress and the judiciary he is going after. Again, in an unprecedented way, he is going after the media. Now, this is a guy who throughout his career has leveled the most savage, vicious attacks on his opponents. Everybody is crazy, everybody is awful, everybody is disgusting, everybody is terrible. And yet, when the media criticizes him, he wants to sue them and shut them down. So we say to Mr. Trump, if you can't accept criticism, get out of the political process. That's what democracy is about. And let me talk a little bit about something that the media doesn't talk about and we don't talk about in Congress at all. And that is the reality that today we have 60% of our people living paycheck to paycheck. We have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had in the history of the country. And as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, we now have a corrupt campaign finance system in which billionaires in both political parties are controlling the political and legislative agenda. And I think this is an issue, whether you're a Republican, progressive, conservative, whatever you may be. Nobody thinks that American democracy is about Elon Musk contributing $270 million to elect Trump and then becoming the most important person in government. So brothers and sisters, when we talk about the future of America and our political system, at the top of our agenda must be the need to end this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision. And move to public funding of elections.